Hey, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Sunday, June 4th. So today we have the moon in Sag all day. Of course, we're still very much in the full moon window. For many of us, we just had the full moon peak in the wee hours here Sunday morning. We will see the moon be in Sag all day, but we are going void, of course, at 11:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will be preparing to shift into Capricorn energy early Monday morning. And again, the transition from Sag to Capricorn is always pretty abrupt. It feels like we were flying high and then we just splat down on the ground without our parachute opening. We do have to come back down to earth. Of course, that Sag energy has us dreaming big, has us kind of envisioning that anything is possible. And in Capricorn energy, we have to come back down to earth, be a little bit more logical, practical, realistic in what it is that we need to do to maybe kind of condense some of those big dreams into something attainable and something achievable. This is also the last day that Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, is going to be in Cancer energy. We are seeing Miss Venus move into Leo energy, the heart and soul of the zodiac, chasing her masculine counterpart around the cosmos here on the 5th. And because of that, Venus moving into the final degrees of Cancer energy, definitely going to be very, very intense. We might be a little bit more emotional, a little bit more sentimental, a little bit more nostalgic than normal. But of course, being in full moon energy, how do we know what aspect to blame for our overly dramatic emotional selves? There are 14 different aspects here today. 13 involve the moon. So a super busy day in the cosmos. Again, just want to mention, if you haven't listened to June's energy forecast, I'm going to recommend you do so. Check out the full moon astro forecast if you haven't already. Still plenty of time to download the moon guide to get your energy in alignment with the moon phase, with the current chapter that we're in. And of course, download the Gemini season e-guide to make sure that you are in alignment with all of these astro events popping off. So right out of the gate, we have the moon making an aspect with Venus. Venus, of course, in these final degrees of Cancer energy, she damn now knows what she got to do in order to protect herself. And of course, many of us experiencing the hard way where boundaries are needed in our lives. But of course, we are definitely orienting to where it is that we have to build and create something new in our lives to make us feel safe and secure and happy. And so this realization really does have us push our boundaries on what it is that we believe to be possible and what it is that we need from ourselves and from the people around us to make sure that we are feeling as stable and secure as possible. The moon will be semi-squaring Pluto, the great transformer himself, retrograde in this Aquarian energy, adding a little bit of a tension point here on examining where in our inner realms we need to create some boundaries as well, limiting those negative narratives, really minimizing the amount of time that we spend kind of putting ourselves back in bad situations and allowing that particular experience to taint our current circumstances and, of course, really jeopardize the options and opportunities that we have to move forward. This is going to bring a little bit of funk because, of course, Pluto needs to take us into the underworld, the shadow realm of our emotions, and being in the full moon energy still, we need to unearth the blockages, the challenges taking place in our emotions, in our mental plane, preventing us from actually believing that what we want to conjure up as far as our dreams and visions go is actually achievable, attainable, and possible. The moon is going to interact with the true node, the north node, which, as you know, if you downloaded your moon guide or listened to the forecast, was a major, major player here entering into June and under the full moon in Sag. This is going to offer us a observational choice point to see where it is that we have an opportunity to stay the course that we've been walking and, of course, not grow, not heal, just sit in the funk, sit in accepting whatever it is that we've already got, or see the path moving forward, see the opportunity to push past our current fears, our current doubts, our current, I'm going to say, hesitations, so that we can actually see a new mission, a new path, a new direction, a new purpose actually unfolding for us. The moon is going to trine Chiron, the wounded healer, which does kind of suggest that we're making good decisions for ourselves from our higher self, not from our ego self. And of course, understanding where it is that in order to kind of move into a new reality and receive new rewards, new blessings from the energy and effort that we're putting out into the world. We do have to boss up to the new version of ourselves. Of course, we've been going through a re-identity, rebranding type of phase when it comes to letting the old outgrown parts of ourselves kind of die off, be left in the past where they belong. And in that space, emerging as a brand new power, a brand new sense of wholeness, a brand new sense of self. The moon will be interacting with Jupiter, its ruler. Jupiter, of course, in Taurus energy. The moon, of course, in Sag energy. This is a great opportunity to really kind of bump up our optimism, our confidence, our faith that everything is going to work out. Everything's going to be okay, that we really trust in the process. We need to just be a little bit more patient in order to understand where the hints and clues are coming into our physical realm and manifesting in front of our very eyes to show us where there is a new opportunity to bust out of the old into the new and create a new opportunity for us to actually be living a life that looks good and feels good as well. The moon is going to interact with Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves in this Taurus energy. And of course, this is going to offer us a choice point, which means that our heart and our head are on two different pages here. What we're going to have to do is see where the gap, the distance is alive and well, and what it is that we have to do in our emotions and in our mental plane in order to bridge that gap and kind of meet in the middle. We're going to get some extra oomph, some extra help here because the moon goes ahead and interacts with Uranus, the great awakener, in the same way, which not only provides a choice point, but provides us with an epiphany, an aha moment, a revelation, a realization on what it is that we actually want, what it is that we need to let go of, disconnect from, detach from in order to pursue it. This is going to be the change in emotion that we absolutely need. And the interesting part is that Mercury will go ahead and meet up with Uranus. So I talked about this in the full moon forecast and also in the moon guide that accompanied that because they did kind of come together. They were within orb under the peak full moon energy, which was a big deal. Why is it a big deal? Let's talk about it. Mercury rules our lower level intellect. That's where logic and practicality come in and where we're really reliant on the information, the details coming in from our external world in order for us to form an opinion and then therefore express it. Uranus is the higher level of our intellect where dreams and inspiration and aha moments and downloads take place. And what we get here is the higher level intellect and the lower level intellect coming together, working together, which means that we have a beautiful opportunity to not only grasp a new vision, a new perspective, a new understanding, a new path, a new direction of change, but we get to actually plan to bring it to life. Mercury, of course, with that logic and practicality, likes to frame things up in this Taurus energy from a realistic perspective. And there is nothing more powerful than having a jolt of lightning come from the higher realms of inspiration and intelligence, come right through our crown. This is definitely going to add a little bit of tension into our headspace, change our perspective and understanding, and orient us to what it is that we need to be planning for, strategizing for, so that we can actually bring some of these ideas and inspirations to life. This is a very, very powerful energy. The moon then goes ahead and interacts with Venus again. We have a different perspective. We had an aha moment. We changed our mind. We changed our heart space. And now with Venus at the critical crisis degrees of this Cancer energy, we are looking to build upon it. That's what that Cancer energy is all about. The foundations of our lives, of what it is that we need to do to take care of ourselves. And Venus is very concerned with our self-worth, with our routines, with our relationships, with our money matters, with our long-term plans. We're now starting to see, because the full moon in Sag is illuminating for us new options, new opportunities to move forward. We're dropping it into the heart space, and Venus in Cancer is making us feel what feels right, what is needed, what it is that we actually want to pursue. The moon then interacts with Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, even our anger, who is in this Leo energy just rearing to go. He cannot wait to take action. He has ants in his pants. We do kind of unearth a little bit of frustration because we have so much energy built up in our physical form. We have no outlet to put it into. We are getting a little bit frustrated, a little bit verklempt, a little bit all over the place because of this scattered energy. It's a fire energy. It's burning burning very bright inside of us. We don't know what to do with it. Well, the moon is going to go ahead, make a positive interaction with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who rules over roles and responsibilities, systems, foundations, and structures, who brings us down a couple of pegs, brings us back down to earth. And what we get here is a practical, logical way of taking action in our physical realms to exert all of this burning passion, excitement, and energy in our inner realms. We're able to do something with it in our outer realms. And heads up, it's likely cleaning up your environment. It's likely addressing the elephant in the room, the skeletons in the closet. We have some tidying up to do. We have to clean the space and clean the slate in order to have a brand new foundation to be building off of. And of course, that's exactly what we are planning to do. The moon in Sag is going to go ahead, make a positive interaction with both Uranus and Mercury. So this, in comparison to the earlier aspects, is a good vibe. This is a harmonization. This is a growth. This is an ease. What are we kind of growing and easing into? An understanding of the plan, of the strategy, of the moves that need to be made in order to make the changes that we know that we have to make because they're necessary in order for us to be working on the foundations that we have to bring to life to stabilize those foundations so that they're strong enough to house the next layer, the next level of our creation story. The last thing that we have going on here today is the moon. This is the last aspect that the moon in Sag is going to make before going void, of course, is the moon squaring off, getting into the boxing ring with Neptune. Neptune, of course, rules over our spirituality, our intuition, our dreams, our creativity, our inspiration, our faith. In Pisces energy, a water sign, this is very healing, very cleansing, very purifying. We are bringing things to an end, to a close in order to begin again. What we get here in this square is an overwhelming energy. We're confused. We're so all over the place. We're so kind of scatterbrained. We're so excitable, so optimistic, so confident, eager to experience all new things that we are overstimulated. And when this happens, we disconnect from our intuition because the confusion is a little bit too thick. We tend to want to isolate. We tend to be exhausted. Our energy levels get depleted. That riding high of manic energy that I spoke about in the ascension forecast for this week will come to an absolute standstill. We're going to kind of lean more into the funk than we are this high-paced, very vibrant energy. And this is going to be a Debbie Downer for many of us, but it is 100% needed. Keep in mind that here, Monday, we move into Capricorn energy, which is very grounding and definitely going to knock a lot of that very manic wind out of our sails and bring us back down to earth and have a logical, practical approach on what it is that we have to do, what it is that we have to build, what our roles and responsibilities are in order to boss up to the next level of vision, of dream, of goals. And this Neptune energy, who normally inspires us to push us forward, is just saying, you know what? The resting period is a necessity as well. We have to understand that there's a time to put energy out in the world, to aggress ourselves and assert ourselves in our physical realm. And there is just as much need to rest, to rejuvenate, to recoup. And coming out of a full moon, a palpable full moon, such as this full moon in Sag, we are definitely feeling the lunar hangover, and it will hit us like a ton of bricks towards the end of the day on Sunday.